What's happening, everyone? This is Gio with Carvalho Creations, and welcome back to the shop. Now, the focus of today's video is just going to be about power carving, and what I'm going to be power carving is wood spirit. Now, if you don't know what a wood spirit is, it's basically just a bearded old man. Pretty easy carvings. I'm going to be using some pretty soft wood here, taking it to the belt sander right now, rounding off some of those sharp edges. It gives me a nice smooth surface to start my carving. Okay, to start off my carving today, all I'm going to be doing is just with a pen marking in the top of the head, and in a second here you'll see me change out the bit. I'm going to be using tungsten carbide bits on a die grinder. Now this die grinder is pretty cool. It's got a foot pedal so I can adjust the speed on the fly, and this thing works great. It takes away the material super easy, super quick. Marking in the bottom of the nose here, and again, this first part of the video is basically just going to be removing material. I'm going ahead and taking out sections in the face and any kind of fundamental of art, basically just blocking in the shapes of the face of the structure you're working with first, and then you're going to refine as you go. So big areas first to get the idea, and then as you continue to go, you just carve in more detail. From this point, I'm doing the top of the bridge of the nose, I should say. I want that to be very prominent at the end result of the piece, and you're going to see it really is. So we're just carving that in. I'm going to have the eyes deep set. I'm not doing any real detailed work on the eyes here. I just want the idea of. So I'm going to have a heavy brow for this guy. Like I said, a very prominent nose, and we're just going to have a lot of shadow at the end. So when you're carving, you kind of want to have that as an idea. Keep a light source next to you so you can hold your piece up to the light and make sure you get the right shadows, the right contours. Now that I've blocked in the majority of the structure of the face, now I'm going into more detail. I'm working in the eyebrows here, and then I'm going to be doing a handlebar mustache for this guy. I want him to have a little bit of style, so we're going to have an upturned mustache, and I'll start to relieve some of that wood that borders the mustache and the eyebrows in a second here, and you'll start to see it pop out. So we went ahead and changed the bit here, and it's basically a spade type of bit, a cone bit. And now I can really get in there and start to carve in some of those lines. I'm going to start with the side of the nose. You saw me do a little bit of the eye itself, and all I'm doing for the eyes is digging really deep in there to give it a nice deep shadow. So you're not going to actually need to see, the pupils and iris and all that good stuff. At the end, it'll just have the idea of, and I think for something like this, it's going to be perfect. Now here I'm starting to work in on the mouth and underneath the mustache. Like I said, I want that mustache to pop, so as you see me dig in with that cone bit, I'm also pressing in under the lip here to give that bottom lip a little bit of shadow, and I'll start working in some of that beard as well. I really enjoy doing some of this detailed carving. It's just kind of fun to break away from the furniture that I normally do and to be able to do something artistic and creative in this type of way. And that was the whole idea of this channel, really, was to be artistic, to be creative, and show all my different types of skills that I'm continuously working on. And this is just one of those things that, I gotta say, it breaks up the monotony of work, and it keeps things exciting and fun to do. From this point, you're actually really starting to see some of that detail. I'm working on the hair of the mustache here. Now, I'm not doing individual lines for individual hair. I know it seems that way, but it's really just blocking in the idea of, because you want to have some of those grooves to be deep, some to be a little more shallow. And again, it's to give the idea and give more texture to the piece, more than actual individual hairs. I think it's important to note too, when you're doing carvings like this, you don't want to overwork anything. A lot of times, if you continuously refine, you start to lose that shape, that hard edge. You can see from the nose in this part as well, there's a lot of shadowing, and it's not a lot of detailed work actually. I leave things pretty square, not so rounded off. Now right here I'm going in with just a sanding disc to smooth everything out, to give that smooth texture to the skin itself, but leaving some of that harder texture for the eyebrows as well, but also bringing out some of that detail, especially under the cheeks and the bags of the eyes. This is just a close to finishing step. Just for a final sand, I'm using 220 grit sandpaper here just to smooth everything out. It's more for a touch thing at the end, so it's nice and smooth. Now we're using a little bit of linseed oil, and it's just a very small amount on a brush here, just to paint in a little bit of the eyebrows and the mustache and beard. It's going to give me a little more contrast in the piece. And when I did this originally, I was like, oh yeah, the linseed oil is going to look good, but it was too dark, felt too artificial. So you'll see me going with the sanding drum here and kind of pull out some of that, break it up so it feels more like an actual beard with highlights and dark areas in it. And I think to finish off that piece, it just gave it a very, very cool look. Now, if you guys like videos like this, definitely tell me about it in the comments. You know, if you have something else you'd like me to carve, I can always do more. I'm always looking for new inspiration and definitely new opinions. So if you have anything you'd like to tell me, throw it down in the comments.